Let me ask you a simple question. When was the last time you did something, anything, while standing on your feet without using a chair for support? I don't mean walking to the kitchen or standing in line at the pharmacy. I mean tying your shoes while balancing, reaching down to pick something up without holding onto the table, or even brushing your hair while standing at the sink. For many older adults, the honest answer is, it's been a while, and that's not unusual. Chairs are everywhere, and they've become more than just a place to sit. For seniors, chairs represent safety, stability, and comfort, especially as joints get stiffer, legs feel more tired, or the idea of falling starts to creep into your mind. So we adapt. We start sitting to do the laundry, sitting to put on socks, sitting to exercise, sitting to stretch, sitting even while cooking or folding clothes. It feels like we're making life easier, and in some ways we are. But there's a hidden cost, and unfortunately, it's one that doesn't announce itself until it's already caused damage. You see, when we sit too often, and more importantly, when we stop challenging our balance, our body starts to forget how to stabilize itself. Muscles in your core, your glutes, your lower back, your thighs, and even the tiny stabilizing muscles in your ankles begin to weaken. Not because of age alone, but because they're no longer being asked to do their job. The nervous system starts to adapt to this new reality. It stops sending strong signals to these muscles. Your reflexes get slower, your reaction time diminishes, and your ability to remain steady on your feet, that precious ability that protects you from falls, begins to fade quietly, with no obvious warning. Most people don't realize this is happening until something small becomes a red flag, like having to grab the counter to pull your pants up, or hesitating before stepping into the shower, or feeling dizzy when standing from a chair. These are not just moments of aging. They're signs that your balance system, yes, it's a real system, is beginning to weaken. And the irony? The very thing you've been using to feel safe, the chair, may be contributing to the problem. It's not the chair's fault, of course, but when you sit for almost every daily activity, your body simply stops practicing the act of stabilizing. And as we always say in medicine, use it or lose it. So what's the solution? It doesn't mean getting rid of chairs. It doesn't mean standing all day. But it does mean becoming aware of how often you sit when you don't truly need to. And understanding that something as small as brushing your teeth while standing on both feet could be your body's daily dose of balance training. Because balance isn't just about strength. It's about practice. And the longer you avoid practicing, the more difficult it becomes to get it back. Most people think losing balance is just a part of getting older. It's normal, they say. Everyone wobbles a bit after 70. But that's not entirely true. Yes, certain changes do happen with age. Your vision might get dimmer, your reflexes slower, and your muscles a bit weaker. But losing balance isn't inevitable. In fact, in most cases, it's preventable. And it often begins not with a big fall, but with a slow habit, sitting too much, especially when your body could and should be standing. Let's look at what happens physiologically. Your body has a remarkable system that keeps you upright. It includes your eyes, your inner ear, your sense of touch, especially in your feet, and a group of muscles that coordinate together to make constant micro-adjustments. Every time you reach sideways, stand from the toilet, or turn around without looking down, your balance system kicks in. But here's the problem. This system only works well when it's used regularly. When you always sit to perform basic tasks, like getting dressed, picking something up, or preparing food, you slowly stop engaging the muscles that support these movements. Your deep core muscles, which act like a corset for your spine and pelvis, get weaker. The gluteus medius, a muscle on the side of your hips responsible for stability, becomes underactive. Even the tiny intrinsic muscles of your feet stop doing their job, because the soles of your feet aren't getting sensory feedback from the ground as often. The result? You become more reliant on external stability. The chair, the handrail, the kitchen counter. You may start doing the furniture walk around the house, moving from one surface to the next. And with every day that passes, your body grows more dependent on these aids. Not because your muscles can't do the work, but because they haven't been asked to in a long time. And it doesn't stop there. As your stabilizing muscles weaken, your joints, especially in the knees, hips, and lower back, start to carry loads they weren't designed to handle alone. This leads to discomfort, stiffness, and eventually avoidance. You may find yourself skipping certain movements, not crouching, not reaching, not walking as far, but movement avoidance only accelerates the decline. Your mobility starts to shrink not because of pain, but because of fear. Fear of losing your balance. Fear of falling. But let me remind you of something important. Your balance isn't gone. It's just deconditioned, like a language you haven't spoken in years. And just like with a forgotten language, with gentle, consistent practice, it can come back. The human body, even in its later years, is capable of remarkable improvement. We don't need to turn your life upside down. We just need to begin with awareness, by noticing how often you sit when you could be standing, and what small steps you can take to begin waking up the balance system again. Let's talk about what actually improves balance, not just in theory, but in real life. You see, many seniors are told to exercise more or do balance training, but those words can feel vague. What does balance training look like when you're in your 70s and not interested in doing yoga on a wobbly board or standing on one leg with your eyes closed? The good news is that balance training doesn't have to be extreme. It starts with small daily challenges. For example, brushing your teeth while standing on both feet without leaning on the counter, walking from room to room without holding on to walls, or standing up from a chair without using your hands, just your legs and your core. These little moments are more powerful than they seem. They send a message to your brain and muscles. Hey, we're still doing this, stay alert. One of the most effective exercises I recommend to my patients is the single leg stand. It sounds simple, and it is, but the benefits are tremendous. Stand near a kitchen counter or the back of a sturdy chair. Shift your weight to one foot and gently lift the other foot a few inches off the floor. Try holding it for 10 seconds. Switch sides. That's it. No fancy equipment, no pressure. Just a quiet, focused reminder to your body that balance still matters. Over time, this strengthens the muscles around your hips, knees, and ankles, while also training your nervous system to react faster and more confidently when you're off balance. Another hidden gem is heel-to-toe walking. Place one foot directly in front of the other, like you're walking on a tightrope, and move forward slowly. It's harder than it sounds, especially if you try it with your eyes focused ahead instead of looking down. This simple motion mimics the way we walk in crowded places or narrow hallways, where control and coordination are crucial. But there's something even more foundational than exercises, and that's the surfaces you spend your day on. Our balance system responds to the floor beneath us. Walking barefoot on a variety of surfaces, like grass, sand, or even textured indoor mats, activates the small muscles in your feet and ankles. Those muscles are your first responders when you trip or misstep. If they're strong and alert, your chance of catching yourself before a fall is much higher. Unfortunately, modern life has flattened our world. Smooth floors, padded shoes, and motionless routines have dulled the very signals our body relies on. So when we remove the challenge, we also remove the practice. And when the time comes that you need your balance system to protect you, for example, when you step off a curb or slip on a wet tile, it may not respond quickly enough. That's why I encourage older adults to treat balance like a daily vitamin. Not a one-time workout, not a weekend class, but small, regular movements that restore your body's natural ability to stay upright and steady. Every time you stand without help, shift your weight, or move across uneven ground, you're investing in your independence. Now let's talk about something even more important than muscles. Confidence. Because when it comes to balance, the fear of falling is just as dangerous as the physical weakness itself. Over the years, I've seen many patients, strong, capable individuals, begin to avoid movement not because they can't do it, but because they no longer trust their bodies. One small fall or even the memory of a near fall becomes enough to make them cautious, hesitant, and overly dependent on chairs, walkers, or handrails. And while safety is crucial, overcaution can quietly become a trap. You begin to sit more, move less, ask others to do things you used to handle yourself. You stop walking outside when the sidewalk is uneven, or avoid visiting places with steps or inclines. And slowly, your world shrinks. Not because your body forced you to, but because your confidence did. This creates a dangerous feedback loop. The less you move, the more your stabilizing muscles weaken. The weaker they become, the less confident you feel. And with less confidence comes even less movement. It's a cycle that accelerates the very thing we all fear most as we age: losing our independence. But here's the empowering part. This cycle can be reversed. Confidence can be rebuilt, just like muscle. One small, successful movement at a time. I often tell my patients, don't think in terms of distance or difficulty, think in terms of trust. Can you trust your legs to help you stand from the couch without pushing off with your arms? Can you trust your feet to walk across the room without holding the wall? If the answer is no, that's okay. But let's work toward changing it. Start with what I call challenge moments throughout the day. Pause before you sit down. Hover for 2 seconds before letting your body fully rest on the chair. That small delay re-engages your core and leg muscles. Or when you rise, try to do it with minimal hand support. Feel the muscles working. That tension, that little shake in your legs, that's progress. It means the muscles are trying. Don't rush through it. Even simple tasks like standing at the sink while washing dishes, or shifting your weight from one foot to the other while waiting for the microwave. Those are golden opportunities to signal your nervous system. Balance still matters. And remember, the goal isn't to perform perfect exercises. It's to restore a natural confidence in your body's ability to hold you up. We're not trying to turn you into an acrobat. We're trying to help you walk into your kitchen, bend down to pick up a dropped spoon, or step into the shower without fear. Because true independence isn't about doing everything by yourself. It's about trusting that your body can support you, safely, steadily, without hesitation. And that trust? It begins with movement. By now, you might be wondering, is it really that simple? Can something as ordinary as standing up more often truly protect your balance, your mobility, even your independence? The answer is yes. And it's not about grand gestures or dramatic changes. It's about choosing every day to give your body a reason to stay strong. Because your muscles, your nerves, and your brain still want to work together. They just need regular reminders. Here's what I tell my patients, especially those oversight. Don't think of sitting as the enemy. Think of sitting as something you earn. After a walk around the block, sure, sit and rest. After doing some light stretches while standing, take a seat. But when the default for every task becomes sitting, brushing your hair, folding laundry, even putting on your shoes, that's when your balance system starts to shut down. Not from age, from lack of use. So where can you begin? Start by standing during everyday moments. Fold your laundry while standing at a table. Brush your teeth without leaning on the sink. Wait for the kettle to boil without sitting down. These may seem minor, but every second spent on your feet is a second spent telling your body, I still need this. Then add gentle, targeted balance exercises. Remember the single leg stand? Just 10 seconds on each leg, near a sturdy counter. Or the heel-to-toe walk down your hallway. These are not workouts. They're body conversations. You're reminding your system how to shift, correct, and stabilize, just like it used to do effortlessly when you were younger. You can also think about your footwear. Supportive shoes with a firm sole give your feet better feedback from the ground. Avoid soft, squishy slippers that rob your body of that connection. And try walking barefoot, safely, around the house for a few minutes each day. Let your feet wake up again. Most importantly, talk to your doctor or physical therapist if you've already had a fall or feel your balance slipping. There are wonderful tools and programs that can support you, including gentle physical therapy routines designed specifically to rebuild strength, flexibility, and coordination in older adults. You're never too old to improve. And one final reminder, balance isn't just physical, it's emotional. The more confident you feel in your body, the more likely you are to say yes to the things that matter. A walk with a friend, a trip to the store, time spent standing in the kitchen cooking your favorite meal. That's the real gift. Not just the strength in your legs, but the freedom to live your life without fear of falling. So don't let the chair steal your balance. Use it when needed, but not for everything. Your body was made to move, to shift, to stabilize even as you age. And with just a few changes each day, you can protect your balance system before it quietly disappears. Because staying on your feet, literally, may be the key to staying independent, steady, and strong for years to come.